Good morning, gorgeous mom leaders. Welcome to Conscious Your Pay Chat number 55. Today, we're gonna dive deep. As you know, I love to dive deep and dig deep and look beyond our own behaviors and look beyond our kids' behaviors because they are typically just a mask for a fundamental underlying need that they have that we don't tend to see, and quite frankly, we don't even tend to see in ourselves. So when you're here, let me know, hop in the chat, leave your comments. If you watch it on replay, put a hashtag replay, give us a like if you watch this on YouTube, and start engaging with us. I love to see your comments. I love to see, whenever you have an aha moment or a question or something puzzles you, let's have a conversation. I really love and appreciate that. So today's topic is about the three questions that every child pretty much asks us every day, but we are completely, utterly blind to these questions. And so, without any further ado, I'm going to jump right into what these three questions are, and then I'm going to break them down for you and help you understand how we can start seeing these questions and how we can start attuning to our real needs, of our own real needs, but also our kids' real needs, in order to really help them thrive in what we think, is a very hard world, a struggling world, a highly competitive world. So the three questions that your child asks you as a parent in particular every day is, am I seen? Am I worthy? And do I matter? And in the work with my clients, this is what it comes down to when they start working with me. All the problems we have in adulthood tend to go back to the root of, well, I didn't matter. My needs didn't matter. I had to behave a certain way because if I didn't behave a certain way, X, Y, Z would happen. I had to oblige. I had to be compliant. I had to fit in. My parents didn't really have the time to accommodate to my emotional needs. And this is why we then grow into these adults with these holes that we then need other people to go and signify to us, yes, honey, you do matter. Yes, honey, I do love you. Instead of developing the capability to give that to ourselves. So, how are we missing to see these questions? Now, first of all, the questions of, am I being seen? Am I worthy? Do I really matter? Are completely and utterly disconnected to the doing. But we have been raised to give a lot of emphasis to the doing instead of the being. We attach our doings to our worthiness. And so, if our kids, for example, just play around with what looks to us like no clear end goal or like just kind of senseless playing, we feel they're wasting their time. We feel they need to prove themselves. So we give them something to do all the time because we have never learned a different way to accept ourselves for just like being and understanding that you are already worthy just by being and you don't have to do anything. And this is the art of raising, happy kids that are utterly confident about themselves when they grow up. So how can we flip this? The way we flip it is we need to, first of all, see where we're doing this, and then we need to release the control around it. So let me give you an example. So many moms or many parents, this is not mom specific, goes to dads as well, to be honest, including me, we have a very hard time to simply allow our children to just play. Whether this is playing a music instrument or whether this is playing a sports. So what do we tend to do? We sign them up for soccer practice. We sign them up for music classes. And then we buy all the equipment they need. And we constantly urge them, you need to get better, you need to get better, you need to get better. We have these crazy expectations, that our children are going to be like the next rock star or the next famous soccer player. And so we put a lot of pressure on them to become something. And that completely misses the point of that they are already whole. They are already something without all these things that they have to do. And so, to give you an example from my personal life, my daughter used to play soccer. And she really liked it at the beginning, but she was together with boys. And what happens at some point is, the boys are just like physically stronger. Of course, they run faster, they can kick the ball way harder. And so she started getting very frustrated, but could not articulate that at the age of 6 and 7 back then, right? But we had to think, it's like, no, you started soccer, so you have to stick with it. You have to show that you are able to pull something off, that you can push through. Like we don't give up, right? And so we, for like about 6 months, we literally dragged her to soccer. We forced her. I mean, just even talking about it makes me, feel very embarrassed that we did this, because it was this expectation that we put on her. It's like, if you start something, you have to finish it, right? Because if you don't, then you basically failed. Like, and my child cannot fail. Like, I don't accept that. And so that's just an example of how we do these things, because we constantly strive for our kids to get better at something, because we come from the place of, I was never good enough. I needed to be better at something. And so we project that on our children. And so what that misses is that we cannot see them. And our kids are literally like screaming at us every day. They're screaming at us every day. Can you see me, mommy? Can you see me, daddy? Can you accept me, mommy and daddy, for the way that I am? Even though my hopes and dreams and desires are different from yours. You know who's a really good example for this is Katy Perry. Katy Perry grew up in a very religious family. I think her dad was a reverend, if I remember correctly. And she was expected to be a very certain way. So what happens? She broke out. She got to a very extreme, excessive behavior that was absolutely not approved by her parents. And so this is exactly what happens. The more we basically try to form our children into something that we think is right for them, without tuning in to them and really understanding what they believe is right for them, because believe it or not, every human is born with this innate knowing of what is actually good for them. And we, as parents, can't see it. We can't see it because we can't even see it in ourselves. We can see it. So we think we know best what is right for our children without having even checked in with them. And so what then happens is that the more we try to form them into something that we believe is 100% right for them, the more we're going to be disconnected from them, and the more they learn to be disconnected from their own true self. And that at some point is going to eventually show up. And it shows up when we become adults. And it shows up for them when they become adults. You know, that's when people start drinking excessive alcohol. And don't get me wrong, I love my champagne, right? I mean, that's what we're calling this, the paradox of conscious champagne chat. But yeah, that's when people then go to alcohol, they go to cigarettes, they cheat on their boyfriends and girlfriends. You know, we overwork, we end up in depression. Like, all these are signals at the end of the day for not listening to the questions of, am I seen? Am I worthy? Do I matter? That lead to being completely disconnected from our true self. So, what does this mean for us? It means to shift to a place where we truly and utterly see our children as complete independent human beings that are autonomous, that have the capability to know what exactly they want. And we become the guide and we become the listener instead of becoming the controller for our own needs. Because if we don't do that, they're going to build up this protection shield around them that won't allow other people in, but at the same time translates into, people-pleasing behavior, for example, translates into procrastination, all that sort of stuff, because we constantly cry, do you see me? Do you see me? Do you see me for who I am? Am I worthy? Do I really matter here with my contribution at work? This is the reason for all the conflicts at work as well, guys. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. And that's why it starts with you. Do you see you? Do you hear your inner intuitive voice that is very quietly saying, take a break, take a break? Please take care of yourself? Or are you letting your ego run the show? Because the ego is the protection. And so again, it comes back to you. How much do you see you? How much do you appreciate you? How much do you recognize you? Or the opposite of it is like, how much judgment do you put on yourself? How much shame and blame do you put on yourself? How much do you put yourself on the operating line of good and bad and right or wrong? That's when we fail to see even our true selves. That's when that's why we're disconnected to our true selves. That's why we grow into adults and we're like, I don't even know what I want. I don't know what I want. I have no clue what I want. Yeah, because we forgot to tune into ourselves and listen to our own desires. So my friends, if you feel confused and stuck sometimes, join our 1-hour workshop that we're going to run on June 20th. And I'm going to show you as a very simple 3-step intuition method how to find out exactly what you want, because it starts with you. If you know that for you, and if you're being honest for you, you will be able to project it and move on to start seeing your children. They know what they want. But we as parents teach them to unlearn that basically and disconnect from that. So let's start with us again and let's reconnect with ourselves and really truly understand what we want. And then we can teach and guide our children to do the same. So there is an event in the Mom Leadership Group where you can join our workshop. There's a sign-up sheet. Sign up. It's going to be 60 minutes, super short. It's $17, super cheap, because I want to make it affordable for you. So jump in with us and join that session. And I will be seeing you back here tomorrow for another Conscious and Pain Chat series. Thank you for listening in and love you so much. Take care. Bye.